go. Will the Maryland Terrapins continue their domination over the Wake Forest Demon Deacons? This is Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament at the Greensboro Coliseum. Maryland currently sitting as 5.5-point favorites, while the total sits at 134. This one tipping off at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPNU. Wake Forest haven't won back-to-back games since January 9th to the 12th. They defeated Virginia and Boston College both at home in those two contests. 6-3 at home, 0-9 on the road during conference play. Of course, they're coming off a 90-79 victory over Virginia Tech as 6-point home favorites on Sunday. They lost both series meetings by a combined 36 points to the Maryland Terrapins. Really dominated in two particular categories, not just in those two games, but the entire season. When you look at these two teams statistically, 45.4% field goal percentage defense for Wake Forest, Maryland 37.9, and on the boards, minus 2.4 in terms of rebounding. For the entire year for Wake Forest, Maryland, one of the better rebounding teams in all the country, out-rebounding foes by 9.2. 3-6 straight up all-time in ACC tournament play versus the Terrapins, but they've lost their last 6 in that situation, including an 82-60 victory, or 82-60 loss as 4-point underdogs in the first round last year. That one climbing over the total of 138. 1-7 straight up and against the spread in the month of March, the last 2+ seasons. Of course, the only victory in that span against Virginia Tech, a team that was absolutely atrocious, just like this one on the road this year. Maryland 1-3 the last 4 games, including a 61-58 overtime loss to the Virginia Cavaliers as 9-point underdogs, going under the total in the last 3 games and then losing the last 3 of 4, maybe getting a little bit of value in terms of the odds makers, undervaluing this team in this spot. 3-7 straight up as the number 7 seed in the ACC tournament, but they do rank first in the ACC and 9th nationally in field goal percentage defense. As I mentioned, a real mismatch, probably the biggest mismatch in this entire tournament in that particular category. They've won all 4 meetings against the Demon Deacons under Coach Mark Turgeon since he's arrived from College Station. He was previously at Texas A&M, winning those games by an average of 16 points and going 3-0-1 against the spread. This team is deep, so look to play this team as an underdog as they move through the ACC tournament if they get past this game, and in the NCAA tournament if they land in that field of 68, as their bench has outscored opponents' reserves 773 to 367 on the season, and they have 10 players that average double figures in minutes. I'm going to back Maryland here. I think they bounce back. They are 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 tries after a straight-up loss. So I'm going to pick Maryland minus 5.5 against Wake Forest on Thursday night. This has been another edition of Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. And you're going to want to check out 2 other videos at SBRvideo.com. That being Oklahoma State taking on the Baylor Bears and the Louisville Cardinals taking on the Villanova Wildcats. This has been another edition of Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. Cut.